Hi, welcome to Driving TV and I hope you are well. In this video, I like to talk to you about a subject which is not a common subject. It is not a regular subject taught in a driving lesson. It is a subject which is not known to many, or they don't have the full understanding or the full explanation of the subject. So in this lesson, I like to share about the subject, explain to you fully and show you how it's done in practice. The subject is meeting traffic, so I will explain first and show you how it's done in practice. So let's get to it. Also, if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. Okay, so firstly we need to know what is a meeting traffic. Now, meeting traffic is where there is no space for two cars on a road. And the reason is probably because there is a parked car on one side, or there could be parked cars on both sides, or there could be a bus roadworks, and because of that the road becomes narrow, and this is when you could meet someone, and this is known as meeting traffic. So if you look at the example here, we have a parked car here, and if you were coming this way, and if there was a car coming from the opposite, you would meet each other here because there is no space here for you and for them to go. So this is known as meeting traffic, and the reason is because the parked car is here, or there could be a bus here, or it could be a roadwork here, and because of that reason the road becomes narrow and there is no space for two cars, and this is known as meeting traffic. So another example of us knowing a meeting situation is that if you look at the picture here, imagine all these are parked cars, and all these are parked cars, and if you were coming this way, and if there's a car coming from the opposite, because of those parked cars, the road is narrow and there's no space for two cars, and this is known as meeting traffic. Because the road is narrow, there is no space for two cars, and this is when we know we are facing a meeting situation. Now let's explain how are we going to deal with a meeting situation. So now imagine this is a road which has a parked car here, and this is your car, and there's a car coming from the opposite. Now we know this is meeting situation because we know there is no space for two cars here. So because the parked car is on our side of the road, we will stop our car here. Now doing that, we need to think of three things. Number one, we'd want to be too straight and too close to the pavement. We'd want to be too close to the parked car, and we want to stick our nose out. And these are the three things. Number one, not too close to the pavement, and don't make it too straight. Don't go too close to the parked car, and stick our nose out. The reason we're not going to be too straight and too close to the pavement, because if we do that, the car behind is going to think we are parking. If you go too close to the parked car, your view is going to be restricted and it will be harder for you to go round, as you will have to do lots of steering. And we stick our nose out so the car behind knows we are not parking, we are about to go. Your car becomes a signal for the car behind, because looking at the car they will know that you are not parked. Once this car goes, we look at the top and right mirror, see if it's safe, and then we go round. Now what if you are the other car? What if this is your car and the parked car is on the opposite and there's a car coming here? What do you do then? Now just because the parked car is not on your side, it doesn't mean you have the priority, because if they don't stop, you're gonna have a problem. Best thing to do is approach in a way to stop here for them. If they stop or not, it doesn't matter, because you are about to stop, and as you are stopping, if they stop for you, you carry on going. If they don't stop, it doesn't matter, because we are stopping anyway, we let them go. One other thing I like to mention here is that if they flash, If a car comes and they flash you, remember the flash doesn't mean it's an invitation. Flash means they are there. Now, treat it as if they're telling you that they are waiting for you. Make sure you check all round, see if it's safe, and then go round. Because if they flash and there's a bike here overtaking you, and just because they flashed, you just go without looking, that could be a major problem. So just because they flash, don't go yet. They flashed, see if it's safe, and then carry on going. Now imagine a road which has parked cars on this side, parked cars, and parked cars on the other side. And there is a space here in the middle. This is your car, and there's a car coming. Now, what are you going to do in this situation? Because the gap is on our side of the road, we will approach, go into the gap, and stick our nose out, wait for this car. When they go, we carry on going. Now, on another situation where the gap is not on your side of the road, it is on the opposite. This is your car, and there's a car coming. And like I said, this time the gap is not on your side, is on the opposite. This is your car, there's a car coming. And on this situation, what are you going to do? The best thing to do is stop where you are, or go a little bit forward and stop around here, so they could go in and then you could go. If the gap is on your side, remember to go in and stick your nose out. If it's on the opposite, don't go into that gap, because this is the wrong side. You stay opposite, you let them go in, and you go. On some situations, you will enter a road where there are parked cars on both sides, but the road is wide enough. It is big enough for you and for the car coming from the opposite to use. That means it's not a meeting situation. Just because there are parked cars on both sides, it doesn't necessarily mean there is a meeting situation. Meeting is only where there is no space for two cars. So in this road, the road is wide enough, you carry on going and they go their way. But if you are not sure, stop anyway, because there will be some situation where the road is wide enough but you're not sure. If you're not sure, stop and let them go. That's the best way to deal with a situation like where you're not sure. Because on a situation where there's parked cars on both sides and you're approaching and there's a car coming, you will have a choice of three. One, I can go. One, I can't go. And one, I am not sure. And the danger is where I am not sure. If the answer is I am not sure, best thing to do is stop and let them go. In the end, you're the one who has to make the decision. And if you're not sure, best thing to do is not to go. As we drive on this road, we see we have parked cars on both sides, which means there is no space for two cars on these kind of roads. We will be driving in the middle, and if there was a car coming from the opposite, we will be facing a meeting situation, which means we must take the advantage of the gaps on the left and on the right to pass each other. We have another example of a road where there is no space for two cars, which means if there was a car coming from the opposite, we will face a meeting situation, which means we must take the advantage of the gaps on the left and on the right, same as the other one. As we drive on this road, we have parked cars on both sides, but in this road, we won't be facing a meeting situation even though there are parked cars on both sides, because the road is wide enough and there are space for both cars to pass. As we drive in this road, we see there are plenty of parked cars on both sides. The road is narrow, so we will be driving in the middle, reading the road well ahead if there is somebody coming, because if there is, it will be a meeting situation, which means we must take the advantage of the gaps. We now see there's somebody coming, so we go into the left, stick our nose out and give them away. The car behind that is going to give way to us, so we will look at the top mirror, right mirror, see if it's safe and carry on going. As we drive on this road, we have parked cars on a right hand side only, and we see a car coming from the opposite. And in this road, because we are not sure whether there is space for two cars, we'll just wait on the opposite of a gap and let them go. As they go, we see there was space for two cars, but because we're not sure, it's best to stop anyway. As we enter this road, we see a meeting situation as there is no space for two cars on this road. We see a van coming from the opposite, so we will wait for the van just before the gap so the van could go into the gap and go round. We now see the van just flashed, which means they're telling us they're there. We see if it's safe to go, and it is, and so we carry on going. As we go round the van, we say thank you by giving them a wave and a smile. We see if it's safe, go around this car and carry on going. Thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, please do give a thumbs up, and please do make a comment if there's something you want to say. And if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, and I hope to see you again on the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.